In our paper and this presentation, we present a method that allows generating the first sequential synthetic RGB hand pose images dataset and a novel training strategy for preservation of the pre-trained visual temporal features during domain fine-tuning from synthetic to real, preventing the expensive cost of collecting real hand motion data. Since we believe current pose estimations greatly rely on successive poses estimated, we aim to exploit temporal features for 3D hand pose and shape estimation from sequential hand motion dataset, which has not been available in the literature of RGB-based hand pose estimation. Considering the expensive cost of annotating real hands, we have decided to generate our own synthetic dataset. In order to generate our own hand motion image dataset, we first generate pose flows, which we define as sets of hand poses that are put together in a gradual motion during a time period. With annotations of Big Hand 2.2 million dataset, which was reported in CVPR 2017. 3D TSNE graph of randomly selected Big Hand data samples shows that Big Hand data samples densely span much wider space for both pose and viewpoint spaces than any precedently reported datasets. Here is our approach on generating a pose flow. We firstly pick an initial and a final poses, which are sampled randomly and independently. Then to select the next pose station, we measure the difference between the initial and the final poses, and update a certain amount to have a current pose updated. For authenticity of all poses during the variation, from the initial to the final poses, we pick a pose within a BH dataset that is nearest to the current pose updated. Such a pose selection is repeated during the length of a sequence to create a pose flow. The pose flow generation procedure can be summarized as follows. When multiple pose flows are created, modeled with a predefined three-hand modeling function and reprojected to 2D images, we are now able to generate synthetic but realistic hand motion data. And further applying dynamic background images, we have created our synthetic hand motion dataset, SegHAND dataset. SegHAND dataset is the first sequential synthetic RGB hand pose image dataset, with SegHAND dataset providing temporal features of various hand motions. We're now able to train a hand pose and shape estimator networks that exploit temporal image features. We then need to effectively conserve the pre-trained temporal image features of moving hands during synthetic to real domain transition. Since learning structure of hand movements in 3D space from 2D images can be separated into learning image features of real hands and learning kinematic structure of finger joints. To this end, we propose the following training strategy to exploit the benefits of SeqHAND dataset. During pre-training with SeqHAND dataset, our SeqHAND network learns temporal features of successive three hand pose variations that are mapped to image space. For overcoming synthetic real domain difference, we have taken reported real hand image datasets and their samples as one frame long sequence inputs to train pre-trained SeqHAND network of which recurrent layers are detached. It allows to preserve pre-learned temporal features while fine-tuning encoding layers of image features. The results of our proposed method shows more stable predictions and smooth transitions among successive frames. Our method predicts stable hand pose estimation for static poses while our baseline results in unstable pose predictions. When there's not much visual features given for the estimators to predict poses, our method takes motion continuity and overcomes the pose estimation error. Due to our penalties on shape consistency, assuming the hand in a sequence is owned by a sane person, we preserve the shape consistency throughout a given sequence. Thank you for listening to my presentation, and feel free to contact me with the email address I provide in my paper.